Okay, our next goal is to fill in the whole table and then start trying to do some economics. And in order to fill the whole table in, I'm going to fill in an arbitrary cell, and I'm going to use that the expenditure in the cell is the price of X, which is always in cell Q6. I'm going to use absolute references for that. Q6 times the quantity of X. Now the quantity of X is always in row 25, so I'm going to use absolute reference for the 25, but the column changes, so this one is I and then absolute 25, so that's the price of X times the quantity of X, plus the price of Y, which is always in cell Q8, so I'm using absolute references there, plus the, times the quantity of Y, which is always in column B, so absolute B, and in this case I think that is in row 11, so let's put 11 here. No, I want it to be 13. That one, 13, and there we go. And let's see if that gives us the right answer, and that says true. And if that formula is right, it should give it to me for the whole row. So let's try that for the whole row and see if it's right. And that looks right. And now if that's right, I can actually use that row, copy the row, and just paste row by row and fill in the whole table. And if I do this correctly, I should get trues every place. And that's what we're trying to do. And then we can look at the pattern of what we have afterwards. And so we're trying to get there with that pattern. And we've almost got the whole table filled in. And now we've got it. So we've got the whole table filled in. And what you note is that in some of the numbers, they're in blue bold, and it says blue bold denotes expenditure less than income. 3810 is less than the income, which is 132. Red italic font denotes expenditure more than income, so if we went to this cell, 137.40 is bigger than 132. And if we happen to have a cell that had expenditure equal to income, that would be in green underlined font, but it doesn't look like we see any. Now what you can do is now look at how this filled in matrix changes as I change income. So I'm going to lower income, and look what happens. More of the boxes become red italic, fewer of the boxes are blue bold, because now my income is lower, so more of the expenditure exceeds income. I'm going to leave that, and now I'm going to raise the price of X, and look what happens when I raise the price of X for a while. Now I'm going to keep on raising the price of X, and it's moving in over here, and now what looks like the blue bold is almost like a triangle area. And in fact, that's what you should understand. The blue bold plus the green underline, if you see any, are what we call the feasible points. The red italic are infeasible. They cost more than income. And what you should be able to understand is how do the feasible points change when you change any of the parameters, income, price of X, or price of Y. And you should try doing this indeed for your own setup. So you should be able to fill in the whole table yourself and understand how the entries in the table change as you change those economic environment variables.